Welcome to the quick summary of my bas relief peony tutorial. I drew out the peony on a cookie, and here is where I just wet the places where I would like to add gold leaf. I want the water to slightly drain into the sugar before I add it on, otherwise it's very slippery. And then if it's possible, it's probably a good idea to try and let it set. You have to note or keep an eye on the moisture in the air, as sugar tracks moisture or absorbs moisture quite quickly. And if you have a lot of moisture on your cookie, this gold leaf will stick everywhere. I'm brushing it off with a soft brush, and with this I've got a damp brush where I am just distorting it a little bit to get a more vintage look, which is a preference of mine. You don't have to do that. Checking my consistency, it's quite a thick consistency of royal icing, not too thick so that it's dry. And I will start placing on the outlines and not the inner lines. Otherwise you will build up too much icing on the bottom half and not enough on the top. This is almost like a brush embroidery technique, but not totally. So if you're not comfortable with this, please check out the long tutorial where everything is explained as I go. I'm slowly brushing over the icing to get a smooth, how would you call it, top to bottom. And I will be doing this with all the outer petals. If it's easier, you can mark your petals on the outer lines first, then the second and third. Also keep in mind on where your lines go for your, veining. Thank you. Yeah, otherwise it's just going to look weird. Luckily with the peony you have a lot of freedom, as the petals on a peony goes everywhere anyway. So these are the petals that start to curve in more. I first fill the inside, and then I go back to the outer layer, or the outer part of it, or the part that will curl over, and then I will build that up as I'm doing now. See, I'm just going over and over again. Tight spot. There we go. So I'll be doing this with all the next layers. There we go. And you can see that there's dimension because I'm making sure the one petal goes over the other. It will be best to follow a picture, especially when you are not used to doing this. There we go. I'm slightly building it up. If you have to build up quite a bit, it's probably a good idea to let the first part set a little before you start the next. But in this video or tutorial short, I do not need to do that because I'm not building it up as high, and I'm jumping to opposite petals most of the time, because then I'm not working to the one directly next to the other, so the icing don't blend in, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm on a tongue twist. just smoothing that out, and then I will start building the outer layer. There we go. And now the big ones. So make sure you put in enough icing, otherwise it will look very flat. And as you can see, even though you think there's it's hollow underneath because the petal is growing over, this is not what we do with bas relief. There's like icing underneath to support the top part, and it just gives you the illusion of a thin petal curling over. This is more like a side petal. I just added this to give you an idea of how to curve it in sideways. There we go. And I think it really looks so pretty. I really love this. This is one of my favorite techniques, I cannot lie. Okay, I have to do the center before I do the last petal, otherwise it's going to be a little bit more uncomfortable and difficult, but not impossible. But I would advise doing this first and then pat it down with a damp brush so that you don't have those serious horrible points, unless you love that and it's what you want to go for. Then by all means. You can see I'm going over one petal and trying to go underneath another, just smoothing that out, and then try to make a few veined parts. Give it some texture. There we go. And that's it. Now we can just outline the leaves. I don't do full outlines, just here and there, as this is the look I'm going for. I really like the sort of vintage old look, but if that's not your thing, you can do full outlines or even create bas relief leaves. Actually, I think that would also look amazing. If you ever do that, please hashtag me. I would love to see that. I might just do it myself as well. Okay, here I've got some of the crystal candy Emperor's Gold. Oops, spilled a bit. And I'm just going to emphasize where my shadows will be. I love this look. I think it's really pretty. It really does give you that vintage old look, and I'm just a sucker for it. So if you're looking for these products in South Africa, you can hop up to Crystal Candy. I'm sure there's a bunch of other people that sell it as well. I just don't know them. And they're also now making royal icing. This is not a sponsored video. This is just my preference and what I know. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to like and subscribe. And as always, stay creative.